Chapter 11. Crawford sat on the rock. The night sky above was pitch black and full of stars. The moon shone brightly. The clouds had all cleared. Fellows lay before him, his eyes wide and unseeing. Crawford was alive, and Fellows was dead. As for the rest of it, Crawford thought a moment. The iced tea, the mushrooms. It was pretty clear what had happened now that he thought about it. No witchcraft or tribal magic involved. Just a case, like any other. Fellows had drugged him, brought him to the rock, drugged him again, drugged himself, performed some strange, sick ceremony. Then Fellows had OD-ed, end of story. All that was left was standard police procedure, phone calls and reports. First call, the Frederick County Sheriff's Department, to tell them what had happened, to get them to send someone up here to bring back him and Fellows. They'd have to go to Elder's house too, to fetch Green's body. Second call was to Green's wife. He wanted to be the one to tell her, for some reason. Not exactly standard procedure, but it was the way he felt. Then a call to Maris, to tell him, no. There was another call he had to make first, to Sharon, at her parents'. He looked at his watch. It was 6:10. Donnie would be up by now. The sun rose so early this time of year. Sharon would be up with him, maybe watching television, maybe playing out on her parents' porch, watching the sunrise. The sunrise. It was 6:10. It was August 11th. The sun ought to be up already. He looked up again and saw the pitch-black night sky. Crawford had never been much of an outdoorsman. Still, he knew one thing for certain. It was not 6:10 in the morning. Fellows' words came back to him. Time is different here, detective. Jesus Christ. Crawford paced back and forth on the rock. Once, twice. Jesus H. Christ. He dialed information. Vericom information. How may I help you? What time is it? Excuse me? The time. What time is it? The line crackled. I can give you the number to call for the correct time, sir. Do you wish that number? Crawford took a deep breath. Ma'am, this is Detective Randy Crawford of the Baltimore Police Department. Please give me the correct time or give me your supervisor. Well, you don't have to get all huffy about it. He could just about see her frown. It's 2:15. 2:15? In the morning? Ain't that what I said? On August 11th? Yes, on August 11th. Say, is this one of those prank phone calls? Because I know what number you're calling from and… Thank you, ma'am. Crawford hung up the phone and sat down on the rock. It was 2:15 a.m. He was asleep on the couch, in Craven's office. Green was sitting in the anteroom outside, waiting for the fax with Jessica Elder's picture to come in. Sometime in the next few minutes, his wife would enter, and they would start arguing about the gun he'd forgotten to load. The gun Fellows had shot him with. I would have let you live, Fellows had said. But when the killing is so easy… An image flashed in Crawford's mind. The cell phone in Kristen Green's hand. Crawford dialed information again. Vericom information. Jesus, it was the same woman. Yes, I just finished speaking with you. I know that. I have your number right in front of me, and let me tell you, if this is a prank phone call, I need a phone number. The woman's name is Kristen Green. I need you to find her cell phone number. Is this a practical joke? Crawford looked at his watch. It said 2:26. How much time did he have before Kristen Green got to the sheriff's office and gave her husband the clip? He bit back his anger. Ma'am, please. She gave him the number. The phone rang. Once. Twice. Hello? Mrs. Green? Yes. Who is this? Mrs. Green. This is Randy Crawford calling from the Burkittsville Sheriff's Office. Randy Crawford? I don't know any Randy Crawford. Your husband picked me up at the airport this evening? Oh, yes. He did say, oh God, is this about Harris? Is he all right? Your husband is fine, ma'am. He just wanted me to give you a message. Oh, thank God. Well, I'm on my way in. I'll see him in a few minutes. No, Mrs. Green, that's the message. You don't have to come in. Crawford took a deep breath. Your husband found another clip for his gun. Oh. He could hear the relief in her voice. Well, I'm halfway there. I might as well keep going. He's out of the station now, Mrs. Green. That's why he had me call. Oh, all right then. Well, I guess I'll just say goodbye then. Crawford nodded. Goodbye. He hung up. For a moment, in his mind, he was Green, paralyzed, sitting at the coffee table at Elder's house. He strained, reaching for the gun at his belt. He remembered it held no clip. He stopped straining and watched helplessly as Fellows slung a body over his shoulder and disappeared out of the house. And he sat there, just sat there, waiting for the drug to wear off. Crawford hoped. Suddenly he was exhausted. He sat back down on the rock and bowed his head. The next thing he knew, someone was shaking his shoulder. Hey, you all right, detective? He opened his eyes. The sun was high in the sky. He raised a hand to ward off the glare, and there was Deputy Green, standing over him. What? What's so funny? Nothing. Crawford got to his feet. What the hell happened here? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Crawford and Green locked eyes. For a minute, the detective was tempted to tell Green everything. The minute passed. I wasn't sure I was going to see you again, Green said. After Fellows drugged us. How'd you know where to find me? Took my best guess. Coffin Rock. Images flashed in Crawford's mind. The 5 men bound together, the little girl, Jeff Patterson. He forced them down. Where I just came from, Elder's place. Green shook his head. It's a slaughterhouse. The Elders. Both of them. The real ones. Somebody who could be that Toomey guy. Crawford looked down at Fellows and remembered the bodies he'd seen hanging from the rafters. That's all through with now. Green said, I radioed Hart and Callahan. They should be here soon. Crawford nodded, climbed down gingerly off the rock, his legs still bleeding. This time, with the sun shining down and the bright blue sky above, it felt as if he were stepping out of Fantasyland and back into the real world. Maybe he had imagined all of it. Hey! Green was up above, still on the rock. Crawford turned. The deputy was squatting, holding out something in his hand. What? He asked. Are all these berries doing up here?